I'm Meraki from SkinFX. I'm a geometric tattoo artist and a freelance tattoo anthropologist. I sailed from Easter Island to Tahiti with a crew of 14 women as a volunteer for ocean conservation. We sailed for 21 days and 4,000 kilometres across the South Pacific Ocean. Day 3 of eXXpedition. We just had dinner and everyone was getting ready for an evening's talk. We each do a personal presentation in the evenings. And then we got the drill, everyone on deck in full gear, including life jackets. So obviously that was a bit of panic because we didn't know why. And yeah, everyone got up and dressed pretty damn quick, even Millie, who was in the shower. So we got out onto the bow of the boat and a D-shackle had snapped. We managed to retrieve the sail and yeah, we rolled it up and it's packed away, so we're going to be on the stay sail for tonight and deal with it tomorrow. So yeah, everyone's drenched and we're making cups of tea and hot chocolate. I got like, as you can see, we're on the roll. Today I'm so pleased to see the clouds parting and some sun out. The sea's calmed down. We've got the sails in the right position. We've got to get one back up today, but that will be as and when you know, the right person's available to get up the mast and the conditions have calmed down a bit. As you can see, the waters are really calm today and we've got a blue clouded sky, so that's just perfect for us. It's really nice and refreshing since having the storm that's just passed and nearly losing a sail and the reef line coming off the mainsail. So that was a bit dramatic between a day and a night shift, and then getting rained on for 4 hours continuously on the night shift. And then having to do 3 sail changes in an hour because the wind changed direction. I think I'm also still adjusting to boat life and to sharing a space with 13 people. It's a 72-foot yacht, so we are very much on top of each other. But I found a method for being able to sleep in my bunk, which is putting all of my books and camera equipment into my rucksack and just spooning the rucksack, because it stops you rolling back and forth and getting shaken awake all the time. So that's working for me for now. I'm getting a little bit more sleep than I was. But today we've had some bad news from the outside world. So we have a satellite phone on board, and Emily Penn, the director of eXXpedition, is on board with us. And we've been notified that the coronavirus is escalating quite rapidly in the outside world. So we're in the safest place right now. We're in a bubble being blown across the South Pacific. Only thing is, Tahiti's shut their borders and we're destined for Tahiti. Everyone's doing their best and we're lucky to be on this leg. We're just hoping that we're allowed off the boat when we get to Tahiti. Otherwise, massive plan B is necessary. We'll see what happens. But day to day the news is changing. Hopefully it will blow over by the time we get there and that it's not, all borders are shut. Some of the islands are inhabited and obviously we wouldn't want to be bringing anything there, although we're all certificated and have actually been at sea this long. But that's a quarantine in itself, so we know that we're okay. But you know, they've shut their borders and that's fair. It looks like we'll be headed to Tahiti and just hoping they'll let us in, so perhaps we'll arrive early or divert to the Cook Islands. I'm not sure. Not really wanting to ask too many questions to Emily and Anna at the moment because they've got enough on their hands. So we'll just see what happens day to day and respond to our environment as it changes around us is all we can do. We've been having some real laughs even in the storm. and really getting to know the depths of one another out in the depths of the Pacific. So, you know, drenched to the bones in kayaks and 3 sail changes in an hour and all sorts of things breaking, and realising how fragile life is and how far out we are. We're still managing to have a right good laugh, and the swells have calmed down a bit. So although this looks like a lot of movement, this is nothing. Having fun, guys? You got the good shift? Day 7 of 24 on leg 8 of eXXpedition. Yesterday was really great sailing. It was a beautiful weather like this, and as I came off shift, just as I was switching over at the helm actually, we hit a tropical storm, and it rained very heavily and there was some really big swells. Managed to get some rest. And today is really beautiful again. Last night's night watch was pretty tough. I was finding it hard to keep my eyes open, and then I was sort of fall asleep and be like, where the hell am I? So yeah, I'm adjusting, but it still has its challenges. Yeah, so the outside news of coronavirus spreading sounds like it's escalating rapidly. So a lot of borders are closing, and it looks like eXXpedition's not going to be able to continue. We're going to be sailing past the Pitcairn Islands this evening, so we're about 115 miles away, nautical miles. So hopefully today we'll be passing them. Hopefully we get to see it, or at least be nice to see some land, and we've got some fishing lines out, so hopefully we can catch some fish in more coastal waters, because there's been nothing out here. We've had some flying fish come up on deck. I picked those up one morning and we used them as bait, but nothing yet, no fish, no edible fish. We're going to be stopping at Gambia because we need to clear French Polynesian customs as soon as possible before they shut down any more borders, because they've said no cruise ships in and they're not letting people in otherwise. So they haven't said for private yachts yet, for sailing yachts. So we're hoping that we could get to the closest point of French Polynesia is an island called Gambia. I didn't know there was 2 places called Gambia, now I do. None of us know anything about this island, but we have to go there and try and clear immigration, so that then they'll say you need to go to the first international port and fly out of here, which is Papeete, so we'll be going to Tahiti. But if we could spend a day on land, we can get some science done there. All of the crew are really up for a pit stop. We're already planning what we're going to be drinking and eating, and being able to have a good walk around. So I'm quite looking forward to seeing this island. Apparently it's really beautiful, and so it'll be great to see somewhere I've never even heard of. Tiny little island out in the Pacific, and then continue on to Tahiti. Hopefully they let us in. Fingers crossed that by the time we get there that we don't get turned away, because every day the news is changing and the border controls are changing. So really now we just have to clear some miles. So we're still doing science along the way, but we're doing everything as quick as we can to just get through customs, so that the boat can be, somewhere safe and we can all get home okay. So that's a priority now. 24 days was ample time to be going between Easter Island and Tahiti, because we wanted a lot of time for science and stopping at islands, and now we need to be a bit more direct in the plan, just to make sure that everyone gets back okay. So yeah, I mean, a lot's going on in the world, and you have to adapt to your environment. It's quite full on, but being out here, it's really, the outside world, it seems unimaginable that this pandemic's going on, and I'm like, what am I coming home to? That's my 1 week on the boat. A lot of different changing events, and yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful day. I'm really appreciating being here. It's day 9 or 10 on eXXpedition. I can't really remember. So we came to Polynesia to leave, to get our flights out as planned. Like, we don't have to be here like for a holiday. We can just go. Last night they said that we can't go there, so now we're 8 or 9 days sailing from Tahiti, from Papeete. So again, we've been turned away. And then 10 o'clock last night they said come to Gambia. So we went there today, and then we were told that we couldn't be there. So we changed all the sails and everything again. 2 hours after leaving, we get a call from the agent in Gambia saying, hang on, no, come back, because the government in Tahiti said you have to come to Papeete. We can't say what's going to happen until then. Just get here and we'll deal with you, basically. So they might not let us in. They might keep us in quarantine on the boat for another 14 days. We've been at sea for like 20 days by the time we get there, so we definitely don't have coronavirus, and we have all the paperwork to show that. So we turned the boat around, went back to Gambia, and then they said we couldn't be there. So we had to turn the boat around again and then head back to Papeete, so it's like a whole day's sailing wasted. And I had to do like 6 sail changes in an hour in the midday sun. So we will be stuck for more than a month in Papeete. Hopefully we'll be allowed off the boat. So we're preserving fuel and we're rationing food. There's plenty, but we have to be careful, because if we get turned away from Papeete, then it's like, what then? Because the sun's shining and I'm not in grey England and no one on the boat has corona, so really we're lucky. We have enough food and toilet paper. Apparently people are fighting for shit tickets back home. So, you know, there's a lot to be counting our blessings for. But I know that sailing across the Pacific Ocean was a challenge. But maybe it's just the beginning. It's my turn to drive the boat next, so that's going to be super nice because the weather's good, and yeah, it's going to be full on in a couple of days, so I'm just going to enjoy the now, knowing that I won't be getting my holiday in Tahiti. The guest spot is cancelled, and you know, accommodation, and I'm supposed to interview a historian and an anthropologist when I get there. Maybe I can do it from home via Skype, but for now I'm just going to enjoy the sunshine while it's here, because I hear it's like an apocalypse back home and the supermarkets don't even have food and everyone's self-isolating. Although we're very isolated, there is some freedom in this fresh air and ocean, and I'm just going to enjoy that, because who knows what's going to happen next. We've also done the shift method of thinking, so from production to ocean, what happens with the plastic and what could happen, and it goes from government to industry to personal solutions. So there's not one solution to the plastic crisis, there's hundreds, and that's why we need our multidisciplinary crew and hundreds of people to make micro actions to change this, which is why we're here. That's who we are. So it's figuring out who you are and what your part to play in that is. So I think tonight our plan is to make our plan of action, our personal plan of action and presentation to take away with us. So it's really nice doing what we came here to do despite all of the changes in the environment, which, you know, that's why we're here as well, is because of the changes in our environment and how we want to survive. And I hope to write a guide to going plastic free in the tattoo industry, though I'm getting inspired by other people and what they're doing, and yeah, looking forward to writing my plan of action. Kind of looking forward to going home, but I don't know what that is anymore, so yeah, just going to enjoy today. What were we doing when we're supposed to be putting sails back, Benita?
We were checking to see if there were any obstacles at the bow.
How were we checking?
With our eyes and our cameras, photo evidence. Floating containers, very dangerous.
Special apparatus.
Containers can sink a boat. It's a very important job.
Have you been on the sugar again?
No, they won't let me down, no snacks.
Bad. So it's been really crazy, and the whole world shutting down and being stuck out in the Pacific Ocean with all borders shut, repatriation refused, turned away from 2 islands, 2 ports. Yeah, we're getting let into Tahiti in 2 days though.
All worth it for this sunset.
We made it to Tahiti. So last night we had land ho. At sundown we had our first glimpses of the island, and it's got like beautiful, amazing peaks of volcanic hills and jungle and loads of misty cloud around it. So that was quite a dramatic sunset, although it was really cloudy. So that was when I was on one watch, and then squalls came in. So for 4 straight hours we got rained on really heavily, and there was really heavy storms, so it was constant sail changes. And I'd just been thinking how since we began and there was really heavy squalls, we'd managed to get away with not many more, but yeah, we got all of it in one night, totally drenched. Like if I'd got into the shower with my clothes on, I probably would have come out drier than I did from that night shift. So I was really pleased that that was my final night shift, and I got a bit of sleep, and then woke up as we were coming into the marina here in Tahiti. So the borders are actually closed, but they've made a special exception for us on condition that we stay on the boat, and we have our repatriation flights tomorrow. But because we're 14 women of different nationalities, it's a bit complicated for us, so it's took days of phoning governments and embassies and different authorities to try and get the permission to transit through here. There's someone actually with corona in the marina, so it's all on lockdown. There's curfews here. You can see some really beautiful boats, and the girls are in hammocks now, and behind me is Moria, which I would love to go to. This island looks beautiful and amazing, and I definitely have to come back because I've got more work to be done here. I was supposed to be tattooing and meeting anthropologists and tattoo historians, which I'd still like to do. So as soon as the world is not on lockdown, that's going to be my new plan. So how it feels, I'm still processing. I got here and kind of after getting into the harbour, and you know, there's a lot to do bringing the sails in and mooring up. After that, I basically just passed out for an hour on the deck, woke up a bit dehydrated in the sun and confused, and now I'm looking around at the beautiful ocean and the palm trees, and yeah, I'm in Tahiti and we crossed an ocean nearly 2,500 nautical miles. I think it was 2,377. We did it in 21 days. And I'm headed home tomorrow. I'd love to spend time in Tahiti, but the world's on lockdown and it's a bit scary. Like even the marina where I live at home on my liveaboard boat is shut, so I don't know where I'm going. It's going to be about a 40-hour journey home because the connections are a bit awkward because so much is shut, so many airports, airlines, everything's grounded. So I just have to get home however I can, try and stay healthy en route, hand sanitize everything, and figure out what life is now, what I'm going back to. So it feels a bit confusing to try and imagine that. Like I've had snippets of information from the outside world, and I've got a few texts come through from friends being like, where are you, what's happened, are you okay? I just hope everyone in our sea sisterhood will have a good journey home now. It's been quite an expedition, and I'm just processing. Maybe I'm in shock, and I felt tearful when I got here, but it's quite liberating and empowering. And I think that the issues with corona around the world just really highlight how much we need to pay attention to our environments and respond to that, and yeah, give the planet what it needs, and work in communities to help each other. So it's been interesting timing to be at sea, but I think it's been really good, probably the best place to be.